Mr. Plummer, over here.
Good morning, my fellow Americans. I am former amateur world champion tetherball runner-up, privileged white man, and future president of the United States, Jacques Belliveau. Privileged, you say? Well, yes, indeed. Privileged, I do say, so please stop interrupting me with my own mind voices that I'm making up for this speech. Please and thank you. But Jacques, you exclaim, you are a performer. Some would even call you a comedian. Why should I listen to you and your politics? You're not a politician. To that I say, it's okay. I'm allowed to say and do these things because I have political friends. Pause for 3 count to see if people realize the absurdity of that statement. 3, 2, 1. Continue. As a white man in America, I was born automatically with certain privileges, and I would have to be insane or a Republican to not see that. I have never, ever once in my 34 years feared for my life, feared for the denial of credit, housing, or aid, or found it hard to see myself represented in pop culture or store displays for that matter because of the color of my skin. I have never for 1 second had that fear shiver of brutality or death run down my spine as I was lying to the cops about knowing how fast I was going. But Jacques, you grew up poor and lived in rundown trailers in what Elvis described in his 1969 hit as "in the ghetto." That's not privilege. You had it rough too. To that, I respond, Birch, please, because that argument is so stupid I can only assume it came from a tree. I'm not saying I had it easy. I'm saying put a black man or woman in the same exact life and to be where I am right now would have cost them 10 times the sacrifice and work. As a white man, I was born into a system with advantages. Again, I'm not discrediting anyone's hardships. As a white person, you can and should be proud of your hard work and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. You just have to realize that the boots that a black person are pulling up are filled with concrete and probably the wrong size, and it's like the universe's version of like a off-brand Uggs Croc crossover. Yeah, deal with that. Look, I could go on and on about all the privileges I have simply because of my sensitivity to the sun, but I'm no expert. I will, however, urge you to research and read up on it, starting with White Privilege, Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack by Peggy McIntosh. It's free on the internet. I'll add a link at the end of this press conference where you can find it, as well as links to other resources for educating yourself about white privilege and the Black Lives Matter movement and how you can help. Yeah, I know. No, I feel like that weird stepdad, I went out on a date with a woman like 2 times, so it didn't work out, we're just like friends, but I'm having to teach her 36-year-old son about how to change a tire and the female orgasm, but I don't even have the job, and that's none of the benefits. Huh? Oh, I thought we cut to commercial. Oh, sorry. If the phrase Black Lives Matters offends you or angers you in any way, fuck you. Seriously, saying Black Lives Matters doesn't mean that other lives don't. When I say mozzarella cheese is delicious, does that mean I'm saying fuck Gouda? No, it doesn't, because Gouda is a masterclass in what a solidified smoky milk treat should be. Doesn't make sense, right? And I don't want to take away the importance of the movement by simplifying it to such an extent, but some of y'all are dummies. And as a white person myself, I know one of our weaknesses is our love of cheese. I'm just trying to make it register. But Jacques, if Black Lives Matter, that means that you hate the police. Meh, meh. What the actual shit are you talking about? No. What? I don't. I just want to shake you all. I know people who are currently or have been officers in the law enforcement, and I respect the hell out of them and anyone who can do that job correctly day in and day out. I couldn't. I know I couldn't, so I don't. And I am proud to call those people my friends, and I'll stand up for them just as quickly as I'll stand up for anyone who needs my support in doing the right thing. But I do recognize that the police system, as it stands in America, is deeply flawed and needs a complete overhaul. Frustrating ass people. Oh, calm down. One more thing I feel I must address, since I am your future president, is the current controversy surrounding Confederate statues and monuments in this country. specifically the one in my hometown of Salisbury, North Carolina, known as Fame. Now, let me start by saying this. I am not an artist. If I tried to carve, mold, or otherwise sculpt a monument of any kind, it would more than likely turn out looking like a deformed obelisk-esque penis that's been run over by a herd of wild stallions. Now, I respect the artwork itself and the skills of the artist, but in my eyes, all Confederate statues, flags, and symbols are the equivalent of the swastika and other Nazi or terrorist symbolism. After World War II, Germany banned all of that stuff, and America is insane for not doing the same. It's not about heritage. It's about anti-America. The only purpose of the Confederacy, despite whatever reason people claim started it, was the treasonous overthrowing of the American government and secession. That's it. Doesn't matter why it started. That's what it is. The Confederacy symbolizes hate, ignorance, and evil. Even if that wasn't the original intention, that's what it has come to be. Look up the swastika. The Third Reich didn't come up with that one, but look at what it means now. Nothing anyone says will ever convince me otherwise, or that we should have these statues or other memorabilia anywhere outside of a museum. Anywhere. It baffles me. It baffles me that these true patriots are taking up arms against these lazy, coddled, soft, never had to earn anything in their lives protesters to protect the participation trophies of their great-great-grandparents. How can you stand there and scream at black people to get over slavery, it was hundreds of years ago, while whining and crying about the removal of what is basically a second-place bowling trophy your racist grandpa won 155 years ago? Y'all are frustrating as hell. Jesus. Look, thank you for listening. I won't be answering any questions today, mostly because I'm in a studio alone in an undisclosed location. But remember, when you go to the polls this November, vote for me. I have a beard, and I have a plan. And now I will stare into the camera uncomfortably for the next 8 minutes and 46 seconds in remembrance of the brutality that George Floyd had to endure that took his life. Please educate yourself and do your part to make a difference. You don't have to protest or donate if you can't, but every positive action, no matter how small, is important. That means just educating yourself and the people around you can make a huge difference. Thank you. Thank you. Remember, educate yourself.